Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I just want to share with you some of my takeaways from the book Will. Of course, everybody would know who Will is. His latest stint in the media was for that now infamous scene at the Oscar when he basically hit another celebrity, Chris Rock. That's not what we're talking about. Because before that, we all knew Will as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Mr. Men in Black, Mr. iRobot, and all of that. So my generation at least, we've grown up with seeing Will Smith on the screen, and I personally am a fan of Will, warts and all, and that I personally do not support or condone that last incident, but I will not use one incident to measure a man's entire career or to diminish what he has done in the industry as a black man, as an actor in general. And so I decided, being a fan, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and read this book. So I decided to share with you today some my takeaways from the book. I didn't read it, I listened to it as an audiobook, and so it was a very long book. It was 18 hours long. It was narrated by Will himself, and of course we all know Will is a storyteller and a bit dramatic. So it was lively, and it was good. It was good to read. It was a good. So I personally recommend it, whether you're a fan of Will or not. I personally recommend the book. So my first takeaway from the book: the importance of grinding, the importance of hard work, the importance of just simply being at it, sticking to the task. And so Will Smith, well, he would describe himself wouldn't be an extraordinarily talented person, because I'm sure there are other persons who were probably equally as talented, but his grind, his drive, that's something that really stood out in my mind. His drive for what he did. He really, whatever he was doing, he was in it, and he was in it all 100%, and he really worked hard, some long hours, and some just if he's taking on a role, he would just immerse himself into the role. When he did Ali, he explained to you how he learned boxing, all of those things. So it was very intense. His schedule and stuff was very intense, and it tells me that if you really want success, if you really want to be ahead of the game, I mean, you really have to put in the hard work. I mean, some people look at some things and think they are overnight success. Yes, the success looks like it came overnight, but it took a lot of long and hard hours. So that was my first takeaway. Second takeaway from the book was that your circle is very important, because throughout the book will tell you about some of these persons who were his circle, his confidant. He'll tell you about Jazzy Jeff, and he had good work ethic too, and they gelled and they worked well. He'll tell you about one of the guys, he was eventually his lawyer, manager, friend, mentor, so a lot of things. So he always had a good circle around him, and those persons motivated him, those persons pushed him. He had mentors, and those persons helped to curate and helped him to be the person he eventually became. And so that lesson was a very good one for me. He had different persons who served with different purposes in his life, but they were there. And in the circle, his circle was also, his family was also a big part of his circle. So he'll tell you about his relationship with his grandmother. I smiled because it was a nice, really nice, cute relationship, and this person was a very wholesome person. His relationship with his mom, his relationship with his dad, the initial abusive nature of the relationship, and how he grew up. And I mean, that helped to shape the personality that he had. This leads to my third point. So we talk about the circle, how important your circle is. This is leading me to point number 3. how not healing from your youthful trauma, the trauma of your childhood, how the trauma or the events of your childhood, whether they're good or bad, how they can shape your life. And then there are some things that you need to definitely heal from. And sometimes you don't even realize it until the latter stages of your life. Until you get old, they realize. So his dad, his dad really pushed him in terms of his discipline and his hard work. But on the other flip side of it, his father was abusive, and he created this personality, this people pleasing. Okay, if I am funny enough, if I am, if I give him jokes, if I entertain him, he will not revert to his abusive self. And so he grew up with that. And then because of that whole abusive, he also grew up with the feeling that he was a coward because he was not able to defend his mother. So that whole childhood trauma, it played such a big part in terms of shaping him. The childhood discipline, the childhood what he learned as a child, both was negative and positive in his life. And so it led me to think, our childhood, people, we have to examine, look at, we can't just live our lives and realize, oh, I just saw mistake. Some of the things and some of the negative and some of the bad habits and some of the ways that we behave, those things are because we have not healed from some of the trauma that we went through in childhood. And so we have to examine some of those things, and we have to definitely make a concerted effort to change them. Because some of them, I'm sure not every aspect of what we went through was bad. Some of them good, but the bad part of it, we have to examine it, and we have to deal with some of those things. So that was my third takeaway from this book. Number 4, the next best thing. What do I mean by that? Will was, some of it, he was a little bit obsessive in certain things. So you have to read it and you have to look at it and be able to strike the balance. So you're not going to be just overly obsessive as he was, as he eventually he figured out how to balance his life somewhat. But in terms of the next best thing, he excelled at music. So he got his Grammy for his rapping or MCing or DJing or whatever it was. Excelled at music. At his lowest point, when he went bankrupt and all of that, he got a chance in sitcom, being on TV. But he was not just comfortable with that. He was killing it, because for those who grew up in the Fresh Prince era, that was one of my favorite comedies. Still is one of my favorite comedies. And I'm sure some of you really love the Fresh Prince also. So he was killing it on TV. But he was not, based on the fact that he did so at the end part when his music career went bankrupt and it was so bad, he was not planning ahead for the future and looking at what else was out there. He developed something. Don't just get contented with where you are. Where you are is great and you enjoy it, but look at what next. Where is the industry taking you? What is the next thing that you could possibly do or benefit from? And so after his time on sitcom, he was looking forward, looking into the movie industry. And one of his goals was to be one of the biggest movie stars. Yes, some of the ways that he got there in terms of, I'm not going to give away all I want to say in the book. You have to read it for yourself. But be forward thinking, looking at how else you can impact the world. So yes, you were good at this. Yes, you were good at, but how else? And even the roles that he chose different roles that showed different parts to his personality. Dug deep into his whole acting, because he didn't want to be like a one-dimensional actor. And so that just taught me a lesson. Dig into all those things that you are. Dig into it. Dig deep into it. And try to look out, how else? What next can I do? So that's number 4, I think. So number 5 now. He found out not at the earliest point or when he probably needed it. He found out that he was enough. the people pleasing and this trying to be the court jester just because you want people to love you. You want the applaud, and you have to make the next big grand gesture so that people will applaud you to fulfill or to take care of that need and that low self-esteem that you had. He found out that you are enough. What the gifts and the talents that are in you are already enough. You don't have to even if the world doesn't applaud you, you have to reach to a point to applaud yourself and know that whether they like me or like me not, I am enough, and I don't have to try to please everybody. I don't have to be this person that, oh, everybody likes me. No, that is not your aim in life. Your aim in life is to be comfortable, be contented with yourself, and know that you are enough. And that is something that he learned and something that I took away. Because he was thinking that, oh, he could make, if he just made everybody happy, that would make him happy. No. That was not. And he found out the hard way also. I did say 5, but I have a bonus one. You have to take, number 6, you have to take into consideration people's feeling. It's not only, so you have to learn how to balance. It's not about only the grind and the drive for success. You have to take into consideration person's feeling, how they think about things, how do they feel. It's not only about winning. How taking into consideration person's feeling. That's a big takeaway. Yes, you might be winning, you're trying to be successful, but you have to balance out your drive, balance out that with how you deal with people and people's, just how people feel in general. I did say 5, but I have a bonus one. This is always, I always go back to this, and if you know me, you will know that this is very important to me. In the end, close to the end of the book, Will found out that all of his achievements, all of his accolades, all of his millions, or probably even I'm not sure if he reached the billion yet, but all of his millions, there was still a longing, there was still a yearning inside of him because the spiritual side of him was not tapped in. Now, reading the book, I still don't fully understand how he found his spirituality and all of that. But you know me, what my belief in, and if you have followed me long enough, you know my belief is in God the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And so it tells me, and it's always when you hear these persons who are rich and they're famous, they have made it in life. Because some people feel like it's when you make it in life, when you get all the money, you'll be happy and you will find that fulfillment. He found out that only when you tap into that spiritual side of you, that is when you will truly find happiness. His one was kind of around of the topsy-turvy and all over the place. You have to read to find out what he did and how he came to that place. My recommendation is, as I said before, Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior. And that is where we'll find the true happiness. Get all what you want to get, own all what you want to own, but until we tap into that side. So, yes, those are some of my takeaways from the book. I encourage you, it's a good read. It's a nice read or a nice listen. And I recommend the audible one because just Will's voice and his talking. If you're a Will fan especially, you will love the book. Whether or not you're a Will fan, just listening to somebody take you from their childhood, take you from the abuses in childhood, take you to the point where you are at a good place with your father at the end of their father's life. All of those things take you through emotion, relationship with his wife, and all of that. They're almost breaking up, and all of that. Good read, good life lessons are in there. So guys, again, thank you for watching. Bye.